Jai Guruji, everyone. Thank you for having me, and thank you, Uncle, for offering me this opportunity. I'm not a very good public speaker, but again, thank you, and I think this is Guruji's doing. So I'll start in 2020, which is when I got connected to Guruji. Just, online satsangs, it was COVID. So I would sit with my mom and listen to satsangs, and then 2023, I went back to my place in Manhattan, and I started going to the Manhattan Satsang group. I would go every Thursday. I don't see anyone from that group here now, but it was a really special group of us. We would meet every Thursday, and it was something I looked forward to so much. So fast forward to the end of 2023, work-wise, I was getting quite fed up with work. I was pretty sick of, being in New York. I'd been in New York 12 years at that time, so I was ready for change. I wanted to move. And where do I move? I don't know. Any other city I've been to? London. So, I was telling my boss at the time, who was now a friend and a mentor of mine, I said, I want to move to London. So she said, okay, let's make a role for you in London. So, I applied to this role, I got the approval, and by the end of 2023, I had gotten the job in London. So I was really excited. And the only thing is, she said, you have to be there quite quickly. The job was vacant for quite long, so I had to be in London urgently. And there was the holidays, so things like visa processes, everything was delayed. So come January, I was full speed applying for visas, doing the paperwork, and I didn't have that much time, but these things take time, so it was out of my control. And I had to be in London by April. So I did the paperwork, and then you have to wait. So finally, I got the paperwork back, and the final step is you have to send your passport in to get your work visa. So I had to be there April. Now this is March, so I didn't have that much time. But I got the appointment to go to the visa office, and I went there, signed all the paperwork, gave my biometrics, and they said, okay, you have to leave your passport here, and you'll get it back in 10 to 15 business days. Now I didn't have 10 to 15 business days, but what do I do? This was completely out of my hands. So this was a Tuesday. So I left my passport and I went home. And that Thursday, I was hosting a satsang in my apartment in Manhattan. And so my mom came and did all the cooking, because that's what moms do. So it was a beautiful satsang, as all are. It was a really blessed satsang. And in the back of my mind, I was like, this is my last satsang in my apartment. But I didn't want to jinx it, so I wasn't telling anyone. So it was a really special satsang for me. So again, just a reminder, Tuesday I'd been to the visa office, gave my passport. Thursday I had the satsang in my home. And, all the sangha stayed behind, helped me clean up. And at the end I told my mom, I said, let's leave the darbar because I want to have breakfast with Guruji. I don't know, I just felt like having breakfast with Guruji. So we left the darbar. The next morning, Mom and I woke up, and I'll never forget, my mom had made poha. So we were eating poha. And again, just a reminder, Sangaji, Tuesday I had given my passport, and they told me 10 to 15 business days to get it back with my visa. And so anyway, I'm eating breakfast. This is Friday morning, about 48 hours after I gave my passport. And I was stressed, and along the way, applying for my visa and everything, I'd hit so many roadblocks. I was questioning, is this the right move? Should I be moving to London, leaving my family? But anyway, now it was, I had given everything. I'd done the visa application, so it was kind of too late. So we're eating breakfast, and I look at my phone, and I have a notification that there's a parcel for me downstairs. So I go downstairs, and lo and behold, it is my passport with my visa within 48 hours. And with that, I truly think Guruji is the one who took me to London and has shown me the best experience of my life. I couldn't be more grateful to have this opportunity. I literally asked for it. I said I want something new, and Guruji made it happen, despite the New York visa process. So if he can battle that, he can battle anything. The second thing I want to share, so I moved to London about a year and a half ago now, and now I'm here. I'm visiting for a few days, and I'm visiting for quite a sad reason. On Monday, my dog, Louie, passed away very sadly after 15 years. And it's been a very, very difficult few weeks actually. He was old and quite unwell. And I want to share two things that I've learned through this, these few weeks, and two things that I think Guruji has taught me. The first is, I think, Guruji's first principle, which is gratitude, Shukrana. So Guruji teaches us to be grateful for everything in life. And, of course I feel sad and heavy and angry, and all of these things are grief. This is what grief feels like. It's almost physical at some point. But, what I've also understood, and I think this is only through my trust and surrender to Guruji, he's given me the clarity and strength to be grateful for this gratitude, because for this grief. Because grief, I was thinking about it, I was like, why do we feel this as humans? Why do we feel this pain and sadness after someone's gone? And it's just love. That's all grief is, right? It's love that is so big, it lives beyond the person, or in this case, my puppy. And we should be, how lucky are we, right, to have love so big that we feel it when someone's not even here anymore. So, Shukrana to Guruji for my 15 years, my puppy. And the second thing that Guruji has shown me is his magic. And now this is where, you could say it's coincidence, but I think it's Guruji's magic. So my nickname for my puppy was Bumblebee, because he would buzz around the house. He was a very busy boy. And since his passing, I have seen bumblebees everywhere, whether it was sitting in the garden the next morning having coffee or opening Instagram. Now I know our phones listen to us, so maybe that's an algorithm and not Guruji, but I choose to believe it's Guruji. But he, has reminded me that, these people and animals in this case live on and will be with us forever, as long as we are grateful for the time we had, grateful for the love, and just believe. It really is the belief that there is something much larger than all of us. In this case, it's Guruji. So Shukrana to Guruji for the grief, Shukrana to Guruji for the love, and for my puppy and 15 wonderful years that we had with him. And Shukrana to Uncle for offering this opportunity to share. Thank you.